Jack was born in December. He was a month early, December 7th. And at that time, they just went, he's a little small. I wasn't worried. I was a little bit worried because he had a pneumothorax, which meant he blew his lung. But I said, oh, not so bad. They thought he needed a bag, and then they decided they didn't need one. And then they thought it was Hirschbaum's disease. So the doctors were in this wonderful, kind of optimistic state. Don't worry, don't worry. Once he reaches 40 weeks, he'll be fine. So 40 weeks came in terms of his actual gestation period, and he really wasn't fine. Having had a child before, I knew that it wasn't right, but I wasn't really sure exactly what was wrong. I thought it might have just been delayed because of the premature birth. But after 40 weeks, now he should have been okay. 4 weeks, 8 weeks go by. He's not eating, he's not sucking, he's not responding. I then do a research and I find this Dr. Axelrod. And the story goes, I called her up and said, hi, my name is Robin Posnack, and I think my son has familial dysautonomia. She went, excuse me? I said, well, the doctors there have no idea what's going on. They're scratching their heads. They actually said, as an old adage, just because you hear hoofs, it doesn't mean it's a zebra. It's probably a horse. I said, I think I got myself a zebra, doc. She said, I will be there tomorrow. And she hangs up the phone. So that 3 months, there was no time for me to worry. And the minute I actually kind of hesitated and said, hey, what's happening? Steps in Dr. Axelrod, who does a histamine test. And the histamine test was one in which clearly defines the axons in terms of how the nerve endings are working. It's not 100% sure, but it's 99% sure. So she does this procedure with a nurse as the controlled, and probably 15 doctors and nurses just surrounding us. And we're all looking, and she looks, and within maybe a couple minutes, she went and said, yep, guess mothers know best. Took my husband's hand, and together, proud, we said, now we know, we're fine. We walked out. We were fine. That first day, we were fine. Every day since then, we held hands, and we said, we're fine. They ambulanced him over to NYU. That week, they gave him a fundoplication, a G-tube. They sent him home, and we said, we have him. He's fine. So when I tell you that Dr. Axelrod saved him the minute we needed her. I was tested for everything at that time in the year 2000. If you do the math, you'll realize the FD, the test came out in the year 2001. So when my doctor tested me in 2005, he didn't do his due diligence, and he didn't really look to say, hey, was there anything in the last 4 years that came up since the last panel? And do you know that the cantor, who's officiating for my son Cody's bar mitzvah, knew of FD, wasn't really sure about the details, and didn't really understand that it was actually different than Tay-Sachs. So that's where there was the gap. The gap wasn't so much of the knowledge of the disease. The gap was with the doctors and the agencies and the organizations understanding that this is actually something that can be eradicated if there was proper testing. Well, that's great for all those people that are pregnant, are preparing to have children, but not necessarily for our small population. And so what the Dysautonomia Foundation does is gives us hope, and they care to save the 350 in the world. They're our lifeline.